Hey guys, Came for 15 back at it with another video for you guys, and I am back with another Blue Box episode review for you guys as we are continuing on with more Blue Box greatness. And I really am liking this show. I really am liking this show. I'm liking where it's going. I'm liking the fact that the romance seems to be building between our girl Chinatsu and our guy or our boy uh, Taiki. And yeah, and it seems like there's something on the line now that Taiki has to fight for. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's definitely gonna be interesting to see, man. It's gonna be interesting. But a lot of interesting stuff. I liked it. I liked it, and I know we I said in previous reviews, I would hope that we kind of get the internal like struggles or the internal feelings of Chinatsu in terms of where her mindset is. And I felt like today I felt like the episode 4, they really dove into that, of the fact of her insecurities and her awareness of, about Taiki and everything. I think we saw some of that, and it's clearly going to build their relationship a lot more to where right now you can say they're friends, and it's only going to grow into a romance to the point like they're going to more than likely end up together. It's very nice. It's very cute. But anyways, we just have it. The episode starts off with Taiki basically monologuing. It's been about a month since Chinatsu started living with him and his mother. Man's just living the good life. He's just living the good life. He's just happy. He's energized because his crush is living with him. This man's just energized. He's a lot better at he's a lot better at frick, his sport that he's playing. I keep forgetting. I don't know why I forgot the sport that he's playing. Um, how could I forget that sport? Oh, badminton. My bad. Jeez, I'm so stupid. He's getting better at badminton thanks to Haruyu, training him and teaching him to get better, and he's just living the life and he's doing good now. It's funny because his friend makes the mention like, you seem like you're doing good, you just seem a lot happier. He's like, oh yeah, of course, I'm just living the life, man. I'm enjoying it, and plus I'm getting better and everything, and plus I'm getting close to getting to nationals and everything. Oh man. So he ends up getting a text from Chinatsu, asking him like, hey, I think you took my gym clothes. Do you think we can meet up somewhere, maybe secretive? Because I know that's what you would like, to basically just switch out our gym clothes, right? So it leads to a funny scene where at first they were gonna meet up in the AV room, and it's just classroom. They thought, he thought there would be nobody there, but he gets there and Pina's there, and she's like, "Oh, look, it's Taiki. What are you doing?" And Taiki's just like, "Wait, what are you here?" And she's like, "Well, we're here on like business and stuff like that." And he's trying to hold, obviously Chinatsu's gym clothes. So clearly Hina doesn't find out like, "Oh yeah, why do you have Chinatsu's gym clothes and stuff like that, right?" Because he doesn't want to expose like they're living together, huh? So he comes up with this funny joke, which it made Hina just like react in the funniest way, because he's like, I haven't washed my gym clothes in a very long time. And then she's like, wait, you said you didn't wash your gym clothes till freaking junior high? So like the first time she's like, get out. And then when she basically doubles down on it, and she's like, wait, let me get this straight. You haven't washed your gym clothes since junior high school. And he's like, and our boy Taiki playing it off like a champ. He just like, yeah, I haven't. And she's just like, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Which is funny because it's like, well, if he didn't wash it, it would be smelling from a mile away, and you'd probably be able to smell it. But okay, I guess. But anyways, he ends up meeting up Chinatsu on the top of this like building, barricaded off like, you know, building in terms of the start. Yeah, they're basically the ceiling of the school, the top of the school where it's kind of blocked off, and you know, he meets up with her. He hands her the stuff, and then next thing you know, she just starts changing into her outfit. And he's like, whoa, hold on, let me get behind you. I don't want to see you change and everything. She's like, it's fine. Like, I know how to change fairly easy and everything. And this man is just like behind. He's like, no, let me just not even do this. So she's changing into her gym clothes, and this man's just thinking like, bro, what the hell is going on here? Does she not like think of me as like a guy? Sorry, it's just really late for me. He goes on to say like, does she not think of me as like a dude or something like that, a man or something, for me to be like, you're just changing like in my face right then and there, right? So that was obviously something that was like crazy and funny to see. Um, Obviously she goes off on her own thing because it's like they don't want to make it so obvious like, oh, they spent on the top of the school building together or something like that, right? So um you just kind of you find out some things, the fact that you know he has to win a few more matches to get to his nationals, and then they said like around 16 or something. So yeah, but he has an upcoming match that will get him closer to that, right? Um, it's funny, you know, Haru teases him about something. He actually teased him earlier when he was trying to give Chinatsu her gym clothes, and he's like, "Why are you avoiding me?" He's like, I'll catch up with you later for practice, dude. I gotta go," which was absolutely funny. So it then leads to a scene to where it's like he can't really think straight about what's going on and everything. So he goes to get some practice swings in, and this kind of leads into one of the interesting discussions here. And essentially, it's where Chinatsu comes across him and she sees him like still practicing. She's like, "Hey, you know, you good and everything?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm just getting some practice shots in and everything, and continue to practice to prepare for my match." And essentially, you just have it to where kind of Shinatsu kind of's like, well, okay, that's cool and all, but it's like, hey, you know, you still got like you know, a lot more years ahead of you in school to continue to get better. And in a weird, and honestly, it kind of upset um Taiki, um, because he's like, well, I'm not worried about the future. I'm worried about the here and now of me getting better here and now. And she can clearly, and Shinatsu clearly picked up on that. It's like, oh, did I say something mean? Because he ended up walking off and everything, and she got the impression like, oh, he was probably mad at her. I'm for seeing the comments. Also, I forgot to mention too. This was also another thing before I get to her talk about her insecurities and everything. Um, we kind of get some insight, and it's, who knows, me. I think we're seeing some time. I think we're having to get into the point where we're seeing our girl Shinatsu starting to kind of catch some feelings for our boy Taiki, because before anything, before like she walks up on him, or as she's walking up, she's like, "Oh yeah, just to let you know, your shirt's inside out." And he's like, "Oh man!" So this man literally takes his shirt off in front of her, and he to flip it inside out. First things first, this man Taiki's got a six pack. Like he got a six pack. He's been working his ass off. He got a six pack. But the thing I found very freaking interesting is as he's changing, he looks over to Chinatsu and he sees her blushing up a storm. Her face is red. It isn't like in all animes where her entire face is red. Obviously, it's like around her cheek area, she's like red because she's embarrassed and she's blushing because she's seeing this guy change right in front of her. And on top of it, like, man has a six pack. I think she was looking at that. She was like, "Oh wow, I didn't know he had all that." Which it's just like, is that trying to say like, okay, is she catching some feels? Is she starting to fall for him now? Is she starting to see like wow, he's got a six pack. His body's not too bad. I'm not thinking like she's gonna go all the way with him, but she clearly was flustered by the man like taking a shirt off. So clearly she's just like, oh. we don't know if she has a brother or a sister, or at least, you know, a sibling that is or a cousin she's close to that's a guy. But she got quite flustered. Now we didn't see this when she was changing on the top of the school building. We didn't get her perspective. Maybe she kind of got a, who knows, maybe as she was changing, maybe she was flustered knowing that Taiki was there, just waiting for her to be done. She could have got flustered there, who knows, we didn't see it, but she clearly got flustered when our boy took the shirt off and everything, which goes to show me that, okay, because Taiki earlier in the episode mentioned, like, does she not see me as a guy or a man or something? That reaction alone, I'm like, Taiki, man, no, she sees you as a guy. She sees you as a man. She, yeah. So that's the whole thing right then and there. So it ends up leaving. So one, they end up having a doubles, match with him and Harayu, and essentially they are handling their matches, doing what they're doing. He still is not good enough, but he's improving. He's getting better from what Harayu says. And they come across this one guy, who Harayu knows, from junior high, essentially. And essentially, they're like, I guess you can say he considers him a rival. This dude considers Harayu a rival, and he wants to essentially face Harayu again and have a chance of beating him. And because Harayu made the promise to him, like, hey, if I beat you, you have to give me Chinatsu's Kano's phone number, right? And this shocks Taiki. He's like, what? What the hell is going on here? Now Harayu's like, look, man, you ain't ever gonna get that number because you didn't beat me. And you have it to where the dude's like, well, when we play, let's play right now. And if my team wins, then that's the thing. Now Harayu's like, look, man, I'm not even competing in this. I'm just here to watch, right? So, you get that interesting scene with the fact of, like, you get this whole bet for Chinatsu's number. And essentially he's like, okay, if you want Chinatsu's number so bad, then takes Taiki next week, right? If you win, I'll give you Chinatsu's number. That's basically it. So we got something to where our boy Taiki has to play for a match. Now he ends up going home, and we have it to where he overhears his mom and Chinatsu's conversation. Now, one, Taiki's mom makes the mention of, like, I'm just surprised that he's so focused on his badminton as opposed to studying everything. But hey, as long as he wins these matches and everything, that's good for me. That's good. And you just kind of have this interesting conversation with Chinatsu as she kind of dives into, I guess, her insecurities, and she's like, kind of like tells them, I'm like, I think I kind of upset him. And the mom's like, what do you mean by that? And she's like, well, I saw him training, or Chinatsu's like, I saw him training, and I basically said, like, hey, he's got a few years, left in school. Like, he's got 3 years left in school, or 2 more years after this. And he'll only get better as he keeps working out. So there's really not to say, like, he hasn't been putting in hard work or anything, but it's like, maybe you don't have to win everything, from the jump, and be focused on winning strictly when you got basically 2 more years of school ahead of you. And she's just like, well, like, compared to me, I only have 1 more year left, and then he's got a lot more time to perfect his craft and get better, and not have to worry about maybe winning these things right then and there. He's got 2 more years. And she says she's a little bit envious. It shows her own insecurities, because it shows, like, this guy I know who I live with, he has 2 more years because he's a freshman, essentially, right? And she's essentially, I guess you can say, like, a mixture, because in Japan they have like 3 years for school, right? She's essentially the combination of, like, a sophomore / junior, right? And essentially we have it to where Chinatsu's like, well, me on the other hand, I only got like 1 more year left. And I feel like she's taking that stance because it's like, maybe she has some regrets of the fact, like, maybe when she was where our boy is at, she didn't work her ass off as good as she did, to where she does now. And obviously, she didn't value the craft early on. Even though she's a great basketball player, you can maybe understand, like, maybe she feels like, well, man, I wish I had all that time to work my ass off and get better and actually improve early on. So then, well, as I get older, the stuff that might be a detriment or a weakness for me, it's not a weakness anymore because I've been working and I've been practicing and I've been doing the best things I possibly can, right? Um, so it was interesting to hear that insecurity. I also can probably attribute it to the fact, like, maybe she's met a lot of great people. And obviously, Taiki, maybe her insecurity is like she probably wants to be like same grade as Taiki and everything. So then they're basically together throughout high school, right? Um, because she's only got one more year left, and the next thing you know, he'll be on his own. By the time he's a senior, she'll have already graduated from high school, right? Maybe that's where she feels like maybe she's a lot of good friends, and she doesn't want it all to end. Because trust me, I know, man. When high school, honestly, when I remember starting out high school, I was fine with it. I was very excited for it. But at the same time, it was like, there was days where it's like, I don't know, I can't wait till I'm done with school and everything. And then you get through your freshman, then your sophomore, then your junior year, and then next thing you know, it's your senior year, man. It's like crazy, man. I remember my senior year, like the last high school football game I ever played in. I remember the last few dances I went to and attended. Um, shit, man. I remember like the last week of actual school and everything. To the point I remember our graduation, and it's just like it goes by so fast. And you don't really realize that because it's like, and then especially once high school's done, it's done, and you're on to college, and you don't know if the same people you talked with in high school, you ever talk with them ever again. Like, I still talk with some people from my high school. I think one of the people that I was really good friends with, I wouldn't say we had a falling out, but we just stopped talking to each other, and I haven't talked to him really since, like, at some point in my freshman year of college. Like, and sometimes that just happens. Usually you're high, and I could see where Chinatsu maybe has some insecurities of the fact, like, maybe I'm never going to see my friends, or maybe even Taiki ever again. There'll just be people doing their own things and stuff like that. And her mom just reassures, like, it's okay, it's okay. Taiki is a hard worker, and he's obviously doing all these things. So, in a weird way, this also motivates Taiki a little bit more, because he's like, damn, she really like felt that, and she was insecure about herself because of all of that. Like, he feels like he essentially feels like he probably should have said something nicer. But anyways, the day of the match happens where he's going up against Haru's rival, and essentially, even though our boy is doing good, he's still struggling and everything, and it's still hard. He's still having some trouble. But you have it to where Haru's not too damn worried about him, and he's like, just keep watching. He'll eventually take the lead and get better than him, actually, right? Um, and basically he's like, he basically says that Taiki's strategy is to keep basically being on the defensive to essentially get the dude on the other, to get the guy on the other end a little bit exhausted, so then Taiki can take advantage of it. And honestly, that's a pretty good strategy. Now, yes, well, you'd probably be exerting a lot of energy just playing defensive, but if you are really good at playing defense, it's only going to tire out your opponent, because it's like they're hitting the badminton right back and forth and everything, and then that's when you get them, right? Now, as we're getting to the end of the episode, Shinatsu ends up showing up. And it's like, hey, what's going on and everything, and they're like, oh, we're just watching Taiki and everything. And then that's when Haru Senpai talked about like the strategy that he's doing and everything. So yeah, now Taiki's friend, the glasses guy, whose name I forgot from last week's review, I should have had it on ready. He goes up to Chinatsu and he's just like, oh, hey, yeah, just to let you know, Taiki told me about you guys' situation. And Chinatsu's like, oh yeah, you're his friend. He told me I can trust you and everything. So That's good to know that, like, okay, he already knows about the situation. He's talked to her, and it's cool to find out, like, okay, yeah, listen, if Taiki says you're a good dude, I can easily tell you're a good guy, right? Now, you have it to where, I forgot there was one moment actually in the episode, like, I think, Taiki misses something, like one of the, to, bounce back one of the shuttlecock, from the badminton racket, right? And then she looks at this and she kind of like holds onto the bar, like in a worried way, essentially, like squeezing it down a bit, like, oh, like, is he okay and everything, worried. And his friend gives the best comment ever, and I'm not even gonna deny it. He's like, he's right. I'm like, Taiki's right. She's cute. I'm like, oh my God, brother. But that's another thing that we see. It's like, okay, she's seen how hard he's been working and practicing and training. Now he's like, she's watching a match and everything, and she's already at the point where she's clenching her hands on the bar because it's like, oh, I'm worried that he's not doing well, right? And then that's when his friend is like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, this is actually, this match is actually for like your phone number and whatever. Don't blame it on me. Blame it on Haruyu. And she gets a little bit pissed at Haruyu about that. But then that's when his friend opens up and says, like, hey, just to let you know, like, obviously he's doing this for you, and he's doing this because you give him the motivation and everything. And basically, he's telling Chinatsu, like, you know, before, I wouldn't see him have this much dedication to the sport. But I can't lie, even though I don't think he might be very good, he has shown improvements and he has gotten better. And that's really thanks to you, and he basically is like, look, he's your motivation, or you're his motivation in terms of wanting to get better and continuously improving and everything. And that's basically how he views it. And, he's kind of changed because of you, and you motivate him from the standards you basically put yourself at, right? And he basically is like, hey, since like there's this thing, big huge thing on the map, it's like about the whole phone number thing. And his friend's like, look, I know you got his phone number. Like, at least, how about this? Like, look, if he wins, like, he should get something in return for this. Like, and he basically tells Chinatsu, he's like, hey, look, if my boy wins, take him to the aquarium, right? Now, as we're getting back to the match, our boy Taiki ends up getting a point scored, and because his strategy is working against the guy, and essentially the episode essentially ends off with our girl Chinatsu saying, looking at this and hearing what Taiki's friend said about the motivation that she's given him and the fact that he's working hard and everything, she basically comes up to her mind, and she's just like, all right, if Taiki wins, then I'll take him to the aquarium. And I'm just like, yes, my boy's gonna go on an aquarium date. It's gonna make complete sense. He's gonna win this match against this guy because he's gonna be better, and he's gonna show that he's better. And next thing you know, she's gonna be like, oh, your friend talked to me, and I heard about the details in your match and everything about this guy wanting to get my phone number and everything. So your friend came up to me and said, like, hey, the least I could do if you win is take you to the aquarium, right? So I feel like next week, episode 5 is definitely gonna be maybe their aquarium dates, and I can see it to where that's when they start to get a little bit closer. I'm waiting for that moment in the show where she essentially starts to fall for him. Now, when that happens, it could be happening next week on the date. Um, it could happen in episode 6. We don't know, but the one thing we do know is she definitely, so far, she's in the stage where she's got an eye on our boy Taiki, because again, like I said, the shirt removal, she got very flustered about that. And on top of it, at the end of the episode with the match that she's watching, she got obviously worried because, if you like somebody, you're going to be worried about what they're doing, especially if they're playing sports. Now, she might have been worried because she's seen how hard this guy is, how Taiki's worked. So it would make sense why she seems a little bit worried about how well he's going to do. But, I can see it to where clearly, it's something to do with some sort of feeling she may have for him. It'll be crazy if she just maybe yells at like, good luck, you know, keep it going, Taichi, or something like that, Taiki. And then he turns around, he's like, Chinatsu's been watching me, and that's gonna be the thing that fuels him to beat this guy, right? Which is gonna be funny because then, you know, he's gonna win, and then he's gonna get to go out on this aquarium date. Which when she tells him that, he's gonna be like, huh, me? And then this whole, who knows? Maybe we won't even get the date episode to like episode 6 probably, because this man's gonna be freaking out about like what he might need to buy or get and stuff like that and everything. But the fact like this man is legitimately gonna go on a potential date, which it probably is gonna happen. He's gonna go on this aquarium date with Chinatsu. I feel like it's only gonna get him closer, and who knows? Maybe that will be the moment where he'll tell Chinatsu like, hey, you know, I really, really like you. You know, more than just like neighbors or people living together or just friends. I like you, and I want you to be like my girlfriend, or like you're my crush or something like that, right? Who knows? But it's nice to see some insight into it's nice to see some insight into Chinatsu. And I hope we get more of that going forward. Again, you know, I'm enjoying Blue Box. I think Blue Box is really damn good, and it's a really damn good romance show, and it's a really good sports anime show too. Showing the fact that these two high schoolers, in a weird way, they're kind of motivating each other to continue to pick up their game. Like, because we know from episode 1, he motivated Chinatsu to stay at the high school and continue to get better to make nationals, and essentially, indirectly, this is also motivating Taichi to get better at essentially badminton. So yeah, we'll probably get the conclusion of the match. Our boy Taiki's gonna win, and then we'll probably get a date episode next week. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. It's late, I'm tired, I'm probably gonna lay down, man. It's been a long day for me. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day, night, or when you're in this video. Till then, guys, stay safe. Peace.